Joining us right now, the owner of the Blue Wahoos, Quint. Good morning. Welcome back to News Radio 1620.
Thank you, Rob.
Well, we will talk baseball when we get probably a little bit closer, but if people want tickets, go ahead and plug the website so they can either go online or run down to the box office today and grab them while they still can.
Yeah, it's bluewahoos.com. Last year at this time, we had 175,000 tickets sold. This year, we're yesterday at 227,000. Now, there's a cap because last year we were about 96% capacity, so it doesn't mean you're going to finish 50,000 ahead. It's impossible. But certainly people are getting their tickets much earlier this year to make sure that when they go show up that they can get tickets. It's not a sellout.
Wow. That is pretty amazing. Do I understand this right, that we get an awful lot of use out of the Maritime Park, well, actually out of the ballpark, more than a lot of other minor league teams do, right?
By far, I think we're by far the most used stadium in all of minor league baseball. Most are just happy to have a team, and so anything beyond that is just gravy. The stadium is by far the most used minor league stadium in all of baseball out of the 164 stadiums that are out there.
Hey, I call that a pretty good start, and considering we're not even through a one full, complete year just yet, I think we've all got to be pretty happy with that. Well, we want to utilize the Maritime Park for additional things like putting a YMCA there, and that's why you called.
Right. Well, I think yesterday, I don't know, there was some confusion, I think. And, Pensacola, when they don't want to do something, just throws a bunch of innuendos out there. And I think the thought was, well, Quint wants the Y there for his players to have a place to work out. That's just false. Actually, our locker room has the largest weight room of all of AA baseball. So we have a fitness center, a weight room in the stadium with the strength coach and the trainer right there with hot tubs and whirlpools. So that's just not true. Now, however, though, let's say it was true. That'd be a good deal, too. If somebody comes in and plops $5 million down to build something and then says, when we're not using it our 70 times out of the year for 1 hour, everybody else can use it. Even if that was true, it'd still be a good deal, but it's not.
Well, that really is. I tell you, that's a great deal. That's not a good deal. That's a great deal. Now, I will tell you this, and I don't sit here and try to cast aspersions or anything like that. I had just heard, and in fact, I'd heard twice, once over the weekend and once on Monday, and they said, well, don't tell anybody I told you. So I really can't remember who told me at this point in time, but that's what I heard. So that was the hot rumor, that people who are against this, but they have to find a reason. Now, and I've said this out loud many times, I love the YMCA. I grew up in the YMCA. Atlanta, Georgia, learned how to really be a good swimmer and climb mountains and all sorts of fun stuff, jump on trampolines, and broke my nose for the first time at the YMCA summer camp. That's part of the experience. Love the YMCA. I am one of those that says maybe there's just a better place for it, or a better use for that incredibly valuable strategic land right there overlooking the bay at Maritime Park. That's all my comparison is.
Well, let me go through each one of them, the ones that people mention. First of all, people get caught up in let's build something for tourists. Well, then on the other side, they say, well, gee, we're the taxpayer. We're paying for that property. So I don't see anything wrong with having something that everyone in the community can use. 42% of the people that use the Y are on a sliding fee scale. So if you build in a location which attracts the good payers, it allows you to reach out and help more of the people that can't. Now let's go through what I've heard that could go there. A museum and aquarium, that's not going to happen. There's not money for it. There's not interest in it. It's not going to happen. Hotel. We have some of the best hotel people in the country that live in this community, and if there was a great spot for a hotel, it would have already been there. Well, gee, something private. I've even heard people say, well, gee, we don't want an office building. Then they say, well, gee, we have an office building. Well, anything that goes on that site's not going to pay the least the Y will pay, nor will they pay the property taxes because they're going to want huge incentives. So people are just, hard words to word, but they just get a little bit in la-la land of what might happen and what might be there, and it's really not. And, the interesting thing I find is all of a sudden that's now the prime waterfront spot. It's been sitting there for years, and nobody's showing interest in it.
Well, as I said, the day after the ballpark opened, after that very first game less than a year ago, I said, shame on every member of the city council, county commission, anybody that's had any kind of muckety-muck weight in this town for the last 20 years because it sat there doing nothing for an entire generation. And so they talk about it's been 6 years. I was at the groundbreaking with you in September of '09. So and I have been absolutely, because there were naysayers on other radio stations in this town when I got here. Oh, Maritime Park's a terrible thing. And I looked at it and went, this is an incredible opportunity. And I was proven right, and your vision obviously was proven correct.
Well, and the Y is going to really be wonderful. The other thing the Y will do is attract thousands of people to that site. And you want it as far away from the street as possible because you want people to have to walk by. If there ever does become stores and so on, you want people to walk by stores to get to the Y because that way they'll shop. The last thing is residential. In talking to residential developers, they're real clear that for them to invest in residential downtown, there needs to be more amenities. And these are those amenities. I actually believe that a Y would, in the long run, people will feel better about the Y decision than even the stadium decision. But as you said, people can choose either to have something that's thriving that makes it a better community or an empty piece of land for a lot of years.
No, that's a perfectly valid point. And right now, and of course, I think the Y was showed great foresight. They looked at it and said, hey, we don't see that Maritime Museum coming there because UWF said, oh, hold on here. So we're a nonprofit. That's a great piece of property for us.
No, they had a site selection committee that included real estate people and developers, and they said, the museum was going to go there, and it wasn't going to pay. It was going to pay $1. We'll go in there and pay the market lease or more. And gosh, instead of people coming once or twice a year, the community can use it every single day. I think Shannon Nickerson in the News Journal today had a great story about what happened when Wichita put in their new Y.
Yes, she did. I haven't had a chance to go through it all, but it talked about explosive growth on the part of the Y in Wichita, of all places, Wichita, Kansas. You think they'd get enough exercise standing behind their plow horses and what like that. Quint Studer, we appreciate you checking in, sir. I'm glad we set the record straight. Always happy to do that.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
Take care. We'll be talking to you before the season starts. Are you going to get out to spring training in Arizona?
No. I'm just really Studer Group and the work is just can't get it out there. One of these days, I'd love to get out there because we have a lot of. But for those fans, if they go online and any sports fan and look at the box scores of the Reds, they're going to see there's a lot of Blue Wahoos getting a lot of playing time with the Major League Club this year.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We'll see you then.